Good morning and welcome to Godcast with Wanda. Today we're going to talk about a Jewish holiday called Hanukah that just happens to fall around the Christmas time. But is it a Christmas holiday for them? And the answer to that is no. They didn't know or they don't believe in Jesus Christ, and Christmas comes from Christ. They believe Jesus was a prophet, but they don't believe he was the Messiah. They didn't recognize him when he came into Jerusalem. So what is Hanukah? Hanukkah started, it's not in the Old Testament. It is in the Old Testament, in Daniel, a little bit of it. And then some of the other, I know the Catholic Bible has it in. It's in the first and second Maccabees. It tells the story of the Maccabees and a guy named Antiochus Epiphanes. He was the king at that time of the Seleucid Empire. Now the Seleucid Empire came out of the Greek Empire. He was one of Alexander the Great's generals. He took over the northern part of the empire, which would be Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, Iran. Big territory there. And then Ptolemy took the Egypt, which is below Israel, and parts of Israel. So Israel's kind of caught in the middle there. So there was a war going on between the north and the south, and chapter 11 in Daniel talks about that war. But if you look at the Maccabees 1 and 2, and you can Google it and find it, it talks about this war between Antiochus Epiphanes, the Greek king, and the Maccabees. So what happened? This guy, Antiochus Epiphanes, he was so bad. He hated the Jews. And he's kind of a parallel to the Antichrist. So think about what's happening, what he does, and think about the end times. He was so evil, he did away with the daily sacrifices in the temple. He actually went into the temple and sacrificed a pig. Now, pork to Jews is not clean. It's not a clean animal, and so that's blasphemy. And he did other things. He wanted them to worship him, and just evil. He started massacring Jews by the thousands. So the Maccabees were the head of the family was a priest. So they got a little army together and started rebelling. It was a rebellion against Antiochus Epiphanes and his army. This rebellion lasted for years and years and years, and they almost destroyed the temple, desecrated it, almost destroyed everything there. The Maccabees would lose, and then the Greek would lose, and then the Maccabees would gain more followers. And so it lasted about 3.5 years. And finally, the Maccabees got the advantage of the war, because at the same time, Rome started invading, and they were fighting Rome at the time. One of the sons of Judas Maccabee ends up getting into the temple. This is almost at the end of the war. He wants to light a candle, and he can't find any holy oil. And he digs and he looks and he finally finds one vial of holy oil. And he burns that one vial, only enough for one night. And he burns it, and it lasts for 8 days. That one vial of oil, God created a miracle and let it burn for 8 days. Well, after that, they created the 4-sided candelabra with 4 branches on each side and 1 candle in the middle. It's a lighter candle. And so now, at the end of the Maccabee revolt, they do the 4 branches, the 9-candle candelabra. And in fact, it's going to be a 9-candle candelabra. They started the Hanukkah celebration. It lasts for a week. They do exchange gifts and everything, but it has nothing to do with Christmas. It has to do with the Jews prevailing and thriving and getting through, and God's blessing of the oil of the lamp to the Jews, and burning that candle for 8 days. So that's what Hanukkah is all about. But it's amazing how the Jews have used their resources and prospered and come out ahead. But we as Christians and believers should support and love the Jews, the land of Israel. So this holiday season, just keep in mind the Jews.